Welcome back to the Smoking Beard channel. Today we'll be smoking a brisket. So what you got in front of you here is a close to 20-pound brisket. It's a 19.71 pounds. So I'm gonna open it up and season it before sticking it into the smoker. So first things first, you wanna season your brisket. You can use something as simple as salt and pepper, 50-50 mix. I like using Rudy's. A lot of the products that you see here, you're gonna be able to see a link on the description below. Please go ahead and click on those if you're interested. That helps me out with my channel as well. Flip it over. This is where you really want to get your seasoning here, where you have an exposed meat. Because this is where the taste will land with the seasoning. This is really into. Okay, so at this point, I typically like to leave it resting overnight or marinating overnight. This time around, it was a last-minute request for a brisket, so not that you should do it all the time, but you can if you have to when you're in a time crunch. You can leave this like this for a couple of minutes, maybe while your smoker sets up, and then you can throw it in there. But preferably, you should leave this marinating overnight. So this is my old country barbecue pit smoker. That's what I'm gonna be using to smoke today. First things first that I wanna do here is I wanna pull out the grates. And I'm using these gloves. Right now it's kind of warm in here because I already turned it on, but I'm using these gloves that I got from Gorillaholics. They're real good for handling meat. So if you're interested, I have a link on the description below as well. And if you use my promo code, The Smoking Beard, they'll give you 20% off. So that's not a bad deal. But check the guys out. They have pretty cool stuff there. Since I'm only going to be using smoking one brisket, I took out the other two grates and I'm just going to use this one here. So all these methods that I'm showing you, it can be used on any type of smoker. If you have a Weber, if you have a traditional smaller smoker. Mine is a gravity fed. I have it, so I'm going to use it. But everything I say here applies across the board. The temperatures apply across the board. The time across the board. The preparation is across the board. It's just using a different smoker. All right, one thing that I invested in to make my life a little bit easier when smoking is this Thermoworks Billows fan connected to the Thermoworks signals. Now I do have videos, I'll probably put them up so you guys can see them on how the setup works, how easy it makes your smoking life. I don't want to bore you with all those details, but just so you know, that was that extra step that I took in order to make my life that much easier. Looks like my charcoal is very close to being ready. How you position your brisket is also very, very important. My heat source is coming from my right to my left, so I am going to put my brisket fat side down with the round part to my right. The heat source is coming this way, that way it doesn't overcook or cook too fast my flat part, which is my lean part. All right, so when you want to insert your meat probe into your brisket, you want to try to get it right about the center. You don't want to go and hit a fat pocket. So you want to try to kind of like feel your way in there. Right about the center, that way you know it's done when it's done. And of course, if you're using a internal temperature, I guess, monitoring system, you want to stick this in here. Turn on my signals, but my little fan is starting to work. I'm gonna set my internal temperature of my smoker at 250 for this one because it is a big It is a big brisket, 250. And I'm gonna be looking for a temperature, internal temperature of about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. You can probably plan to spend between an hour to an hour and a half per pound. So it's been a couple of hours. Just wanted to give you a status update here. We have our brisket holding at about 165 degrees. It's in that stall right now, which means it's gonna stay there for a long time before it starts to rise again. And I brought my temperature down on my smoker to about 235. Let's open it up and see what we have so far. All right, so not too bad so far. Pretty good, pretty good. There goes my alarm doing its job. About 7 or 8 hours into it, I want to check up on this the brisket here real quick. Starting to get a nice bark to it. Welcome back. We've been smoking for about 15 hours now. Our internal temp right now of the brisket is 184. Let's go ahead and open this baby up and see what we got so far. Oh, look at that. Got a nice little color to it. There goes my signals. So this baby already hit the 200. It's gonna take a minute to enjoy the bark on this thing before I wrap it. Next step here is to wrap it in foil and put it in a cooler for 2 hours so it can to rest for a little bit. So I put 2 heavy-duty pieces of foil paper. I overlaid them, and I'm just gonna wrap. So just to recap, I did smoke this brisket for about close to 20 hours. I did let it rest for a couple of hours in the cooler, and now I'm going to open it up and slice it up. I don't know if you can tell by the camera angle, but man, this thing is juicy. Start off at the edge. Starting to see a little bit of a smoke ring there. See that fat cap? That's that fat cap we talk about. This is non-rendable. What you can do here after you cook it, you can take that off. Nice little piece of brisket right there. The nice little ring. That's nice. All right, guys. So the rest of this video is me slicing up this brisket. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did, please like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. But for now, enjoy the slicing.